To welcome Mick Booker to the stage, Editorial Director of GB News. Thank you.
I've got a few things to say. As you all know, Monday night was a huge night for British television. Yeah, it was the landmark moment GB News celebrated its 317th night on air. Something else happened, I can't remember quite what. We're the first start-up in British news broadcasting for 34 years. We arrived with a bang 10 months ago, but not everyone wanted us to succeed, but we came with a bang, but we didn't shatter. We didn't explode, and we're still here, going strong now. Now, I'm Michael Booker. I'm the Editorial Director of GB News, as it says. I've been here since January the 4th this year. Now, I've been a journalist for now 23 years. I started off on an agency in the northeast of England. My first job I actually did, it was an agency job for The Sun, where I had to go and find a guy who'd been ordered by an ASBO to sleep by a court in the shed at the bottom of his mum's garden. Now, I'm still waiting the Pulitzer for that one, but the time is going on. But yeah, I arrived GB News January the 4th this year. It was a lucky day for me because that was the day that Eamon Holmes and Isabel Webster started their new breakfast show. A show which in just a few months has helped change a lot of perceptions about the channel, as well as bringing in ratings regularly on a par with and beating our veteran and slow rival Sky News. That's why I now do claim the credit for that. I came in at the same time and everything works out. I'm just a lucky guy. The breakfast show has quickly become a favourite with audiences across the country, so much so the demand quickly came that they wanted us to go onto their doorsteps. We headed out to Manchester with the show for 4 days last month. It showcased the people and the stories that they are talking about in the towns and cities in the northwest of England and across the north of England as well. Next month, we're taking the team to Birmingham. Again, we want to embrace the regions. They've been left behind somewhat by the establishment media, and we want to say that we stand up for them, like no other media organisation seems to be doing at the moment. And unlike some fledgling channels led by former talent show judges that I won't mention, we don't want to appeal to the people of Sydney or South Carolina. Well, if they want to watch, they can do. But we want to be relevant to the people of Britain, the people who live here. Forget about the noise you may hear regarding GB News. If you watch the output, and I'm sure many of you do, and will after this, you will see we're a channel that cares about this country and what people of all beliefs have to say, and we give them a safe and open forum to do it. Last week we had an event in Westminster, attended by MPs from across the spectrum, left, right, centre. I explained to them what I want GB News to be, and that the people who work for it also had so much in common with them. Like the MPs, our staff became journalists to make a positive difference, to affect social change for the better. This morning we even had a Labour MP prepared to define what a man and a woman was. So it's a place people can talk. I came from newspapers, as I said. I edited 3 nationals, all of which had a very strong identity and a zeal for campaigns and to fight for the rights of the readers. I want to do that with GB News for the listeners and the viewers. Before I joined here, I got the most satisfying moment of my career when I led a campaign at the Sunday Express alongside charities and sufferers of motor neurone disease to force the government to agree to release £50 million to fund the research and to fund a cure for MND, which is the cruelest of diseases, something which affected my family. Now, that is something I want GB News to have similar victories with, and take hold of the stories and the causes that people genuinely care about, put them on screen, and fight for it, unlike some other TV channels have forgotten to do. We want to have that spirit like newspapers do, where the people's interests are at our heart. With levelling up still to be something tangible, we're going to fight to make Britain a fairer place to live, with opportunity open to everyone. If we succeed, then we'll go somewhere to help spread the idea that opportunity can happen anywhere in Britain, not just here in London. Personally, I came down here 20 years ago because there was nowhere left in the north for me to further my career. I hope future me's come down to London because they want to, not because they have to. That's what GB News is all about, spreading opportunity. The message and spirit is one of positivity, hope, not manufactured outrage like some of our rivals. We, like the vast majority of Britain, are patriotic, positive, bursting with common sense, and the side of the underdog. This morning, we featured a painter and decorator speaking to Eamon Holmes on The Breakfast Show, talking about how Eamon said, why don't you put your prices up if you're struggling? He said, I can't, everyone else is struggling. They're the voices we're putting on there. And we want to be that place where those voices, your consumers, are heard. There's an ever-increasing drive to help to boost the quality of GB News journalism. We stand for independent journalism, putting facts first and being accountable. In recent days, we've joined the UK political pool of broadcasters alongside ITV, Sky and the BBC. Now, this is a huge moment. It means our journalists are now trusted to capture moments of history and share those results with other broadcasters and the rest of the country. It also means that if a Prime Minister illegally eats some cake, we can be chosen as the channel to go and film the moment. They have to eat humble pie live on television instead. It's a huge moment for us, a sign of acceptance by once sceptical rivals. We showed that again in the Ukraine, when during the start of the crisis, we sent out 4 crews, some broadcasting from Ukraine as well, some on the borders with Poland and Hungary, capturing those stories of people who were fleeing and looking for help. It's something, again, that GB News didn't necessarily be set up to do, but we want to cover anywhere that matters to the Britain and British people. There's still a huge amount of work to do, but we're making great strides to become a news channel everyone can trust for fast, accurate news. We are proud to have come so far despite being criticised, mainly by people who haven't watched us. It was a bumpy launch, but 10 months on, we're making brighter and better programming, innovating every day in a bid to improve the offering. We've doubled the amount of daily programmes, quadrupled our staff, which is a pain for me because they always want a word, and invested in journalism and put 5,000 hours of content out without censure from Ofcom. We're determined to abide by the Ofcom code and be accurate and impartial at all times. We could have been unregulated and just go out online, but we wanted to be compliant with Ofcom and put out something that everyone can trust. The problem is, the problem we have faced is that we've showed it can be done. And as I said, there was a rival channel launched a few days ago by the former talent show judge, who remains nameless. There's also been a noticeable rise in other channels trying to copy us, making attempts to increase the numbers of regional reporters out there that we do, and listen to the 86% of people who actually live outside of London. We've a dedicated team of video journalists based regionally on the ground wherever there's a big story to break, or even a little story that matters to, little Mrs. Smith down the road. We want to hear those stories. We want to have our journalists there to hear what people are saying. The copycats have also invested in panel debate-style shows. Tellingly, some have also started using, shock horror, actual members of the public, something we've done from day one. We've also got huge diversity both in the newsroom and on screen. One of our rising stars, single mum, academic, born in Kenya, Mercy Maroki, just 26 years old, making huge strides in her TV career. Nana Akua, she made the point, she's another one of our stars, she made the point that often young black women, they are given a chance on TV by reading the news. But where else would they be able to get positions of on-screen prominence and where they are able to think and test their beliefs and views on the people of Britain directly into their front rooms? Young talent like these have flourished alongside more established names like Alistair Stewart, Eamon Holmes and Colin Brazier. Young or old, we want our voices to be authentic and have something to say that chimes in the hearts and minds of viewers and listeners. Be it on screen, on the radio, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is, we want to be able to people to trust the GB News brand. We were created to give a voice to people who had been ignored by the establishment media, an establishment media that is slowly fragmenting. We're there to help those people and without patronising them. We are still the underdog. There are still the giants above us, but we are fighting them. We're bullish about the future, and we have got friends in very high places. To be exact, Downing Street, where I went last week, and I was stopped by a policeman at the gate. He had a machine gun. I told him who I was, and I was there to see an MP. He said, "You're from GB News." And he looked at me, fingering his gun. I was a little bit worried. I thought, does he like Nigel Farage? Anyway, so he said, "Keep doing what you're doing. There's a lot of people supporting you." And it's people like him, the people who do the living, working, and spending in this country, that are backing us. And that's who we are behind. Above all, I want the channel to be authentic and stay true to the values of the editorial charter. Our people, programmes, and the whole channel must celebrate the potential and achievement of the individual and the communities around us in shaping theirs and our whole nation's future. GB News is and always will be the people's channel. By the people, for the people. Just like me and you and everyone out there. We are still the real talk of the TV world. Thank you. Any questions?
Where would you? 10 months has been a rocky. Thank you. 10 months has been a rocky ride. Yeah, but yeah, let's say the next 5 years go swimmingly well. Nothing goes wrong. Where will you be?
Well, anyone with any ambition would want to be the #1 news channel. That's what we want to be. You know, we want to be the place everyone goes to. You know, and if everything goes well, then you can have a job, by the way. That's what we want. We want that positivity, but we just want to keep building. We're recruiting at the moment, more people, more journalists, invested in everything that we do, and we just want the place to be the most successful news channel around.
Oh, follow-up question. So, where are you going to steal those viewers from? Where, to start with, or is it going to be attracting people back to news?
I think it's just it's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it? And yeah, we've come a long way in 10 months. As you say, it has been rocky at times, but it's just a case of building up trust with people, bringing in more talent that will attract more viewers to it, broadening the base of what we do, and just working at it every single day. You know, there's some of the staff here working away every day, trying to bring in better names and develop the channel. So I'm new to TV news, but I've seen what newspapers can do over time. And when I came to GB News, it was strange because a lot of the structures weren't set there in stone, and because it is a start-up, it is developing. So there was a lot of work there to do. I was lucky for 20 years of my career to be in a place which had been established for so long, and one person moved out, another person moved in, but all the news that went to those people, all the contacts to those people, we've come a long, long way, and I think we can get to the next level slowly but surely in the next year or so, and then in 5 years, the sky's the limit. Or I'll get sacked.
Hello, Tim Burrows. I'm a journalist mainly writing about marketing for an Australian audience. I guess you're speaking to us today because you want to speak to advertisers. How do you strike a balance between creating a environment that's friendly for advertisers and brands, that they can feel safe advertising with you, and being interesting for your audience and allowing people to share views that don't always get heard? How do you think about the balance between those two things, if you do see there is being a tension there?
Well, I think there's a perceived tension, but I'd say watch the channel and see what we put out. You know, I've always been careful when I was a newspaper editor. If I was in ever any doubt there was something that might cause a problem, that might be offensive or anything like that, I would always leave it out. You know, as common sense tells you what's good and what's bad, and that's what I'm trying to bring. I think GB News is a place, as I said, it's for everyone to have an open debate, but no one to be abusive, no hate there. You know, I mentioned the Ofcom regulations previously. Again, we've not been sanctioned on anything so far. We were very, very careful to be a safe place for everyone, and I think a safe place for advertisers to come. There was a lot of noise around the launch, and we're still living with that. But I think slowly but surely we are building trust. We've got people like Eamon Holmes now working with us again, that people will think, oh, actually, that's Eamon Holmes. He's been in everyone's front room for generations. This is a safe channel to go to. And I just say watch the shows, see what people actually say, and the breadth of debate that we have on, and the fairness that we have in holding them, and just make your own minds up in that way. Because I think we have come a long way. But even when it started, there was none of that. It was a perception that there was hate speech or anything like that. We don't do that. We're just, I'm a father of 2 grown-up kids. I wouldn't want them watching that sort of thing as they were growing up. And I want people to be able to, experience the news channel growing up and thinking this is a great place to watch and get my news from.
Thank you.
Hi, Sam Tidmarsh at Media Cell. So I know your TikTok. Obviously, I've just done a talk on social with Kevin Tewis. I know your TikTok has got quite a significant amount of followers, 250,000 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. Is that indicative of a generation who are actually really interested in your content, and they're going to come through and start watching TV?
Well, we're a digital business which has a news channel attached to it effectively. We want to be on all platforms, and we want to attract every eyeball that we possibly can, but we want to do it so, that generation who looks at TikTok, again, I struggle with it myself, despite only being 46, but it's clear that there is a generation who will look at their news, get it from TikTok. So, we are actively trying to expand in those areas digitally and make sure that the people who get the news from there get the right news from there, and we want to be doing it ahead of other brands who are now moving into TikTok. So I think whatever new platform arrives, GB News will be on it, and we want to be the first on it, and we want to be the first to be successful on it. So there's a constant innovation that we're trying to do. Again, for someone like me from an analog newspaper sort of background, I'm getting up to speed with that, but there's some very, very bright brains in the business who are working on that every single day and make that work.
Brilliant, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rob from Jellyfish. We produce content in many different formats, etc. I'm just curious, would you have different forms of content, or the origin of that content? Would you make it specifically and use specific presenters or journalists for the different platforms?
Yeah, again, we won't not do anything. Yeah, we'll look at anything that will work for us and will work for our viewers and listeners. We were the first simulcast radio TV network. We will innovate wherever we want to do, and we will pivot whatever we need to do to be successful. So if anyone has any ideas that they have to do that sort of thing, we are there. We're open to do it because we want to be successful in every single way that we possibly can. So yeah, we will have specific people for specific platforms if that proves to work. But ideally, we'd want these people to be all part of the GB News family and be able to appear everywhere and on every platform that we do. But if they're particularly successful on one, then why not?
Hi, thank you very much. That was interesting to hear about your history at the beginning. Teresa from Sense of the Future Pictures, just wondering about the audience, the British audience, the UK audience, let's say outside the UK market, so across geographies, like how are you capturing English-speaking audiences outside this country?
Well, we have, YouTube has been a particularly good way of doing that. We have a huge amount of subscribers on YouTube. Look, we are a British news channel. We want to appeal to the people of Britain. That's what we're wanting to do because, as I said, that the new network that started the other day, they seem to be caring more about what happens in other countries or being successful in other countries. We want to be successful in this country, and we want to be there. So, the road sweeper out there that's just gone past knows that it's their channel. That's we go back to it. We say it a lot in there. We are the people's channel, and we want first and foremost to be successful in Great Britain. If there's global success as well, yeah, I'll go for the Emmy as well at the end of the day. But first and foremost, I want to be domestically the number one, and then we see where we go from there.
Okay, the reason why I ask is because I'm bilingual and Polish surname, and a lot of the generation, my parents' generation, watches Polish television. So, okay, they've been in the UK for many years, but you think about it, still it's Poland first because that's where they came from after the war. So this is my thought process, as you can imagine, because you've got such a big expat community outside, the geography we find ourselves in today. So anyway, thank you.
No, it's certainly something if you want to launch our Polish arm, then you've got a job.
I'm certainly here, so let's have a conversation. Thank you.
Thanks very much for our time. Thanks very much to Mick Booker, everyone.
Thanks a lot.